Hi, and welcome to our first full week of having every student who is in hybrid mode be able to come into our class and meet them in person for the first time. It's a wonderful thing to see students being dropped off by their parents, coming off a bus, or matriculating through the hallways in a way that's going to start to have them interact with teachers and feel part of a school community. So thank you for all your hard work in making this happen, and for also greeting students and helping students throughout the way in this new reality that is Portsmouth High School. I want to also thank the guidance counselors for their hard work in readjusting many of the students' schedules to fit their learning needs, not only here at Portsmouth High School, but beyond for college and career. We also want to thank them for their work in the senior college planning events that happened. The first event that happened last evening in terms of the college planning protocols, and also another meeting that will be happening this month relative to the college financial aid. Thank you for setting those up and to giving our families information so they can transition to college, to the college experience. Many questions have come my way relative to the Flex Day protocols. The Flex Day protocols for our teachers is to make sure, and a key word is the word connection. What can you do in your class to make a vibrant connection to each student during the Flex Day experience? Some of you have really utilized creativity in doing student conferencing with students during that time. You've offered review activities as well as having students review each other's work and give critical feedback. So depending on the nature of your class and how creative you can be to use that class to make sure that every student during Flex Day has a connection to a teacher, their teacher, is optimal. Now, the connection can be an assignment that they do, and the teachers have a lot of autonomy. But what is not acceptable is the students to have the impression that this is a free period. We want students to be utilizing Flex Day as a way to continue to support their learning, to practice their learning, to reinforce their learning. So this should be quite a bit of opportunity for teachers to invent useful, meaningful ways to give students access to them as a teacher, and without either introducing a new lesson, because it's a short period, or providing assessments, which I think detract from what Flex Day was meant to be. So please continue to do that. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to see me personally. If you're not sure about something, see your department head as well. But there should be a contact or a connection with the student each time, each day, for each period on Flex Day. I know the journals can be very time-consuming and sort of minuscule to what everything that you do throughout the course of the day. And so are attestation forms. We have the attestation forms that we're doing now and starting in the fall. We've gone through 3 weeks, and we have staff that are completing them at about a 90% rate. But there's still 10% of the staff that really either forget or on occasion don't do it until they actually here in school later on in the day. And that becomes problematic because we want to make sure that you are reflecting on your personal health each and every day before you come into school. That's not only going to keep you safe, but it's going to keep our students safe. Those are that is a very important process. And it's also required by state governance officials. So please do the attestation form. We're going to send out a reminder to people who don't do it by 7 a.m. We figured most people on the road to try to help you remember to fill out the attestation form. I've also talked to the union president to ask you to remind you about the importance of the attestation form, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to, if you've been doing it, great, continue to do it. Thank you for doing it. Your effort is appreciated. It's certainly something that we want to make sure that we're doing every day. And for those of you that have a hard time fitting it into your routine, maybe that reminder at 7 a.m. through an email might help help you get back on track with that. We want students to make sure that they're following the arrows, and they've done a real good job of doing that. By following the arrows, we're spreading kids out a little bit and providing a safe exit and entrance into other classes in a very methodical fashion that spreads out students. The one time that the time that we're going to release the one-way edict is during school when the classes are in session, not transitional periods, and also at the end of school when they're on the second floor classroom and they need to egress from the class. Please have them go immediately down the stairwell, even if it's a one-way stairwell. But if it's the last period and you're going to your vehicle or you're going to your car, please have the students exit from the second floor. The other item is fire drills. Obviously, we want students to egress the building immediately. Use the prepared pathway that you have to make sure that students are, again, safe and can get out the fastest way possible in case of a fire or an emergency. Safe schools are due this month, so please make sure that you get the Safe Schools forms or the videos completed. They're due October 31st, as directed by the superintendent. I think the sooner we can review those videos, the better. I know sometimes if you do a little bit each week, you'll be able to complete all the videos and have it as a meaningful way to review some of the topics that are important to keep our students in a safe place. Evaluation information will be coming out next week in terms of who your primary, if you're on a cycle, who your primary evaluator will be. If you are in error on the list and you feel you shouldn't be, please see me directly. Or if you feel you should be on the list, then see me as well. These forms are directed by Human Resources, and sometimes there are snafus with information, and we want to make sure that that you're properly evaluated when you should be evaluated. Last topic that I want to go over with you is that in terms of assessments. As you know, because we have alternating days, Tuesdays and Thursdays for some students, Wednesdays and Fridays for others, it's inevitable that we're going to have an assessment on one of those days, and some students are going to be taking it from school, other students are going to be taking it from home, the same assessment. In order not to, over the course of the quarter, we want to emphasize to teachers that whenever possible, to try to alternate days so that the students that are in school will have the same number of tests in school as they would for at home, so that we have somewhat of a balance and not create an imbalance in terms of more students taking tests at home versus school. This way it gives each cohort equal opportunity in different environments to take these assessments. So I think we just need to be conscientious of that in order to provide a fair playing ground or fair assessment ground for students throughout the course of the quarter. And I know sometimes it can be time management can be a very difficult thing for particularly during this COVID scheduling experience, but as much as possible that would reduce a lot of the stress and also provide the same environment for all students when they're taking major assessments. So if we can be conscientious of that, I think our students will be much appreciative, and we can make sure that our assessments are done with as much fairness as possible. I want to end with a quote I think that's really interesting from an American poet, T.S. Eliot, that says that every moment is a fresh beginning. And this is a fresh beginning for sure for all of us as we go through this together. and I emphasized how we can lean on each other through this new experience to support and build each other up. I've seen a lot of opportunities where teachers are building each other up. In my experience last night with the PHSO meeting, many of the parents are very supportive of the operations in the spring and here at the school, and very impressed with the quality of work that teachers have put forward in the very trying times. And that happens when teachers support the process here at school, when teachers support each other, when administration listens to teachers, when we try to listen to your concerns in terms of helping you become the most effective teacher that you can be. And when all those things are in place, we have excellent learning. So thank you for all that you do.